What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the Sandworm. I'm Tyler. Hit that like and subscribe button. Today we're going to be doing another install from Auxbeam. They sent me, I got them right here. They sent me these V-ultra 5-inch driving lights. They have DRLs and they are the amber version. I'm pretty stoked about putting these on. I'm going to put them on as ditch lights and see if they're too big or if they look goofy. I might just move them down onto a push bar later and get some smaller ones, but for now we're going to install those. And I ordered some brackets that should fit the truck off of Amazon. And if you guys haven't noticed, I got mics, so the sound quality should be better. Hopefully this is recording. I think they're just plug and play. I'm not real sure, but we'll see if it actually works or not. But this should be a simple install. I know I said that about a lot of my installs, and they usually take me all day. But we're going to see if this goes pretty easy. It should be as simple as unbolting these nuts right here from the hood, sliding the brackets in, and then when it comes to the lights, we should be able to just bolt in the lights to those brackets, run the wires to my Auxbeam switch panel, and we have the fuse box already installed right here. So it should be as simple as that. Since I have one on left and right side, I'm going to try to wire them together so they come on at the same time. But yeah, we're going to do that, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm actually going to go grab a fan because it is about 100 degrees out here, so I'm going to grab a fan and we'll get started on this. Okay, so I'll show you guys the brackets. Let me actually show you the lights that we're working with. These things look awesome. So we've got all the wiring harnesses and everything we need. They even come with these covers on them. But let's see if I can. And there's the light. They're pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about installing these. But we have a little pod light manual and just some information about how to install the lights and everything. And we do have all the nuts, bolts, and washers in there. And then we have this wiring harness, which I don't think we need it because we'll be plugging it straight into the Auxbeam switch box. But we'll kind of see what's in here so we kind of know what we're working with. Oh, plenty of wire to work with. Okay. So, here's our wiring harnesses. These are going to plug right there into the light, like so. And then if we go to the other end here, if we can find the end of this, it's already going into a relay. So we might have to do some cutting. Yeah, we'll probably have to do some cutting so that we can put this all together and wire it how it's supposed to be wired. So you got a red and black wire for your power and your ground, and then you have a yellow wire for your DRLs. So we're going to wire all these. We're going to cut this, wire these two together so that they can go to one switch each. With there being 3 wires, we'll do the red and black into switch 1 for the high beams, and then we will do the yellows into switch 2 for the DRLs. But this should be pretty straightforward. Obviously, like I said, we'll have to cut these so that we can get to these wires and splice them to where we need to go. It does come with a little switch, so if you don't want to do all that, you know, it's already all fabbed together. You just have to plug it into your battery and mount these. But we got the Auxbeam switch, we're going to use it. These will be the first lights hooked up to it, so I'm pretty stoked. But we're going to set this aside, and then we're going to go ahead and mount the lights and get the brackets on there. Just mount. We just go under here, won't hit anything. Loosen these bolts, and these should just go right there, and then we'll mount the lights on top. And pretty straightforward as that. But we'll do one side at a time. I'm going to guess that that is a 12 mil or 13. Yep, 13 mil. Under here, make sure we don't hit any paint or windshield. And we should be maybe not quite loose enough. Loosen this a little more. There we go. So that's about where we want to be. I'm going to tighten that back up. Make sure that's all the way in there. And I'll link these down below. These just came off of Amazon. I think they're like 20 bucks or something. I looked forever on Amazon. I needed them quick. That's why I ordered them off of Amazon versus other places. But yeah, that's solid. Yeah. So I'm going to skip ahead and do the other side, and then I'll meet you guys back over here to mount the lights. Yep, they're sturdy on there, so we're gonna take the stuff out from under the hood and make sure the hood closes, and then we'll start mounting it up. New lights. Just got to pretty much just got to put the brackets on here. Pretty straightforward. They go like that. Bracket would hold it like that, right there. And then you have a top hole, and then this bottom one is so you can pivot or spin, whatever angle you want this at. These ones are going to mount the bracket to the hood bracket, these longer bolts. This washer actually goes to the mount. There's 2 of these ones that are also going to go to the mount. For the mounting the light to the bracket, there's this one that kind of looks like it's broken a little bit, and then there's this flat one. So the one that looks like it's broken goes on first, and then the flat one, and then you'll mount it to the bracket. We're going to mount this to the bracket up front, and then we'll do the others, and we'll see how it goes. So if you guys can see that, I'm going to kind of lay the wire back here. Mount that there. So broken one goes on first, the flat one goes on second onto the bolt, and then the nut will go on. And it doesn't look like there is a specific way that that nut needs to go on. So this is going to be the fun part, it looks like. Yeah. Pretty much got the light on. This is pretty much what it's going to look like up there after I tighten everything down. Doesn't look bad at all. I think I would prefer that bracket to like stick out a little further this way, but this works. We can change those brackets later. But we're gonna get the other side. We're gonna skip ahead, and once I get these mounted, I'll show you guys the finished. Okay, so we've got the lights mounted up. They're sturdy. They're tightened down. I think I might need to like adjust them to where they're kind of pointed in the same direction, it looks like. But other than that, they're pretty sturdy. And we can mess with that. We can fine tune everything once we've got all these tightened down and stuff. We just need to pop the hood, run the wires through, and hopefully it's as simple as cutting those wires and splicing them into the Auxbeam fuse box here. So like I said, we're gonna go to switch 1 and switch 2. So switch 1 will be the main lights, switch 2 will be the DRLs. And so we've got one harness right there, and we've got one harness right there. I want to get rid of this relay right here. We don't need it. So we are going to, we don't need that. That's the button. Might keep it in case I need it for something in the future. We got the relay that goes to the battery. So these 2 wires right here are what we're going to cut. I don't have a knife on me at the moment, so I gotta go grab a knife or some scissors or something. Okay, so we got the knife. These 2 right here are the ones we need to cut. It doesn't really matter where I cut, because I'm going to make these shorter anyways, just because I gotta tie them in together. But we're going to kind of split this plastic that they're in. This passenger one is the one that's going to power on, so start the truck up. And my GoPro overheated, but they did shut themselves off, so that's good. That means my switch is wired up correctly how it's supposed to. Okay, so all my GoPros seem to be messing up, but anyways, what we're doing now is kind of routing the wires to where I want them to be, so I can figure out what length I need to cut them. We're going to cut them, and then we're going to splice the red wires from both lights to just a single red wire, plug those into a switch, and then we're going to splice the yellow ones together. Actually, they're small enough, I'm not going to splice those. I'm just going to directly run those into one of the switches, and then splice the 2 black wires together into one. I think the only other wire I have is white, so we're going to do white and red. But that's what we're going to do now. Hopefully my GoPro kicks on. For some reason it's sitting there powering down. But that's what we're going to do. I guess I can mount my phone up here, and we'll use the phone for now. So we will use the phone until my GoPros decide to start working. It is over 100 degrees, so the other GoPro overheated. I took it inside, switched it out with another one, and this one's acting all weird, so I don't know what's going on. But speaking of 100 degrees, I'm gonna grab some water. Install is one of the easier ones. I do enjoy working in the garage, so I do take my time, but we're probably gonna cut it. We'll probably cut the wire like right here, which gives me about I would say probably like a foot to work with, and then we'll zip tie all this up over here and stuff and route it. But right now I've got it routed. I'll show you. We've just got it routed through the, like right here on this back plastic. We've got it ran down under there, trying to hide the wires as best as possible. So you can kind of see the wire here. It's ran between this crack. And so that's how we're kind of managing hiding. Luckily, these Auxbeam lights, they already come with the wire taped up in black. I think I'm having a stroke. Taped up in black, so they kind of blend in already. But we're gonna actually, once we do this, we'll actually zip tie these wires underneath here so that we don't see them as much. And don't do what I just did. Do not cut towards yourself. So there's all that wire. And now we just need to splice these two together with some splices, which I have over here. I need to find my extra wire that I laid somewhere. But this should be straightforward. Once we have those wired in, all that's left is zip tying and cleaning everything up. And we're done with the lights. We can test them out. Later tonight, we'll take them out on some back roads and we'll test out the brightness and check them out. And now that we have lights hooked up, I can show you the functions of the auxiliary switch inside from Auxbeam as well. So we can make them flash and do all types of stuff, which would be pretty cool. But I'm gonna go grab my red wires and my white wires and start splicing. 14 gauge red wire right here, ready to go. I need my splices. And these kits, you can get this stuff from Amazon. I'll link all this stuff below. Fairly cheap. Some of it's more expensive depending on what you get. Like I have these cheap crimpers. I plan to get some more expensive ones because these ones suck. But now we just need to take this rubber right here and kind of just, don't push too hard because you do not want to cut into your wires and compromise them, but just enough to where you can kind of cut this plastic and start peeling it back. And this knife is kind of dull, so we're going to cut just a little bit harder. There we go, we got it started. So now we can start peeling this heat shrink stuff back. And then we'll do the same on the other wire and we'll get these all spliced together. So you want to kind of free up enough of this to work with so you can kind of split these up good. And then we'll cut off this extra. Toss that to the side. And then we'll do the same with this one. Twist these two wires right here, and I'll bring you guys closer so you can kind of see. This is pretty straightforward. At least, I mean, I say that, but I guess if you guys have never done this before, then it's probably not straightforward. But so these two red wires are going to go, we're going to wrap them together, twist them together like that. If you guys can see that, the red wires are twisted together. We're going to slip them into one end of this crimp right here. And then we are going to go ahead and squeeze that so they stay. Yep, nice and tight. And then this wire is the single wire, so we're going from 2 to 1. And so this single wire is going to go in the other end, and then we'll cut it to the length that we need. And that will be what plugs in to our switch. And then we'll also put electrical tape around it just for some extra stability, some extra durability and safety, just because there is a little bit of bare copper right here. because I shaved too much off the end. Definitely invest in some better crimpers than what I got, because it makes it a lot easier to do this. It takes a lot more strength to squeeze these than some of those more expensive ones. But if I did it right, the wire's in there sturdy. We're going to tape it up, and then we'll do the same thing with the black wire. I got to go grab a different color wire so we don't get them mixed up. I don't have black wire, I have white wire, so my two black wires are going to connect into one white wire. And then these yellow ones are small enough I can trim off some of this covering and just put both wires into one of those switch units. But we're going to put some electrical tape on there real quick. Okay, so we got the wires in here. We've got the positive to the positive on switch 1, the ground to the negative on switch 1, and then the DRL to the positive on switch 2. And everything should be in there tight, and these lights should come on at the same time as everything. We're going to reroute this real quick, clean this up, and then I'll show you the lights, and then I'll show you the Auxbeam modes, the Auxbeam switch modes, so we can make them pulse and everything like that. But first, let's clean this mess up and get it looking nice and pretty again. Okay, so we have everything routed up under here. Kind of have it zip tied off to the side. I can kind of, once I get the new wire for the Auxbeam switch and get that replaced, I'll probably re-clean everything up. We've got that running, the wire from the driver's side running along this plastic right here. It's kind of just sitting there. I'll have to figure out a way to clip that in. But for now, for testing purposes, it should work. And we are going to test out the lights. And we are going to see if they come on at the same time. So, they should. Okay, lights should come on at the same time. Let's start the truck up. And here we go, switch 1. Boom, switch 2. That's not my truck. My phone connected to my truck. But anyways, here's switch 1. There's switch 1. There's switch 2. But here are all my lights turned on. Okay, so this GoPro's working. It's cooled off. So let's turn the truck back on. So the switch that I have, it has an app with it. I need to turn my Bluetooth back on. There we go. Okay, so here you can change the color, and it's pretty responsive. You can change the brightness. I haven't added any stickers yet, but we have stickers. So we can change the color of all this. But the cool thing is you can, from the phone, as long as you're hooked up with Bluetooth, you can turn your lights on from the phone, which is pretty dope. But you can also set this to different modes. So if I want to change switch 1 to momentary, your lights will only stay on as long as you're holding the button down. And I can also change them to pulse, to flash. So we've got flashing lights here. So let's turn them all the way up, and you can change the speeds of the flash. So let's check this out. Oh yeah, see, there we go. We've got emergency lights now. But that's the cool thing about this app, or this switch right here, is you can pretty much customize it to how you want. You can even group lights together. So like, let's say I group these lights with my light bar. My light bar is not hooked up to this switch, but let's say it was. I could group lights, switch 1 and 2 together. So if I turn light switch 1 on, light switch 2 would automatically come on as well. So this thing's awesome. Definitely look into it. I'll put all this stuff in the description, as as well as the materials I use. And then we'll tune back in here in a bit when it's dark out, and we'll check out how bright these lights are if you guys are interested in these lights. But this switch is definitely handy. So we're using 1 and 2. 2 is DRLs, you can see them come on, and then 1 is the high beams. And then I have one of these switches ready to go. I have lights for it, so we're going to install another one. But we have 5 other switches that I need to fill up with something. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But I'll check back in when it's dark, and we'll check out these lights at night. But I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so we're out here. We're going to actually turn these lights off, and then we're going to use the drone, and I'm going to show you guys the DRLs. We got fireworks going off, but I'm going to show you the DRLs and the high beams. So let's go over here. So here we have my light bar, and then we have the DRLs, which I really love. These DRLs, they're dope. And then we can turn those off, and we can turn the high beams on. Look at those are just phenomenal. These are super awesome. And so if we turn those off, we can actually turn on the DRLs, and then we can turn on the high beams as well, so we can have both. And then here is everything on together. That is just awesome. So let's actually maneuver. We've got some fireworks going on over here. We've got some fireworks going on, but we are actually going to come over here, and we will turn these off, and I will show you all the different beams. Okay, so there's the truck low beams, there's the truck high beams, there's my light bar, DRLs are on, and there are the Auxbeam lights. You can see the Auxbeam, even with the amber, they overpower my light bar. And that's a 40-inch light bar versus just 2 5-inch pods. And I do need to adjust them to point up a little bit more, because they're kind of pointed a lot at the hood. But these are awesome. Like, once I get them adjusted to where they need to be, you can see that there's a lot of light on the hood. These are going to be an awesome addition. And I might even point them out to the side a little bit, because this is just, these things are awesome. Turn the DRLs on, turn the light bar. We got to get a badass shot right here. So we're going to stop the video there, and we are going to get an awesome shot.